my granny.
This is my grandmother.
And this is my grandma.
Seniors are very important.
I love you, Babcha. We need you.
You are loved.
When the sun is bright or in the darkest night, we're all in this together. I've got many friends, and you are one of them. We're all in this together. It will be okay. Ça va bien aller. I've got many songs to sing, won't you? Sing them too, sing them too.
Hello everyone. My name is Mariko Tanabe and I live in Montreal. I'm so honored today to be invited into your room and that you are coming into my room with me. So today I'm going to share with you some of my work. I have a background as a dancer, and after performing and touring and creating my own dance works for over 30 years, I started to be more interested in the body, and I want to share with you some of this work that I'm doing. I'm a specialist in a work called Body-Mind Centering, which works with the body, consciousness, movement, voice, expression, all with the intention of a fuller, richer embodiment of who we are in this world. So today I'll be touching a little bit on my fascination with human beings and our ancestry. And I'd also like to share with you some a meditation, relaxation exercise or exploration, and some movement as well for keeping agile and keeping our minds alive. One thing that this time in our lives has really brought into the foreground for me is how important our community is, and especially how important family is, whatever family means, because I know we all have different kinds of families. Some of us have big, huge clans of families and relatives, and maybe they're annoying sometimes. And some of us have very small families, or maybe we've never even met our blood relatives. And we had other people who we lived with as family, or maybe some of us even created a community of friends or kindred spirits that they have as family. And it's all really, really important. As human beings, I feel like we really need that. I know I did. I think that in North America especially, most of us immigrated here, or if it wasn't us, it was our parents or grandparents or our ancestors who immigrated here. Some of us were born indigenous to this land and have been here for generations. But yeah, I started to get curious about my ancestors. You know, because I have Japanese origins and I was born after the war, but not so long after the war, that there was also a kind of anti-Japanese sentiment going on in Canada and North America, and actually in a lot of the Western world. And I was a young child, and I just wanted to look forward with my life. And I think that's probably what a lot of our ancestors wanted to do. Research has proven that we carry not only the hair color, the eyes, the body type, the race, and all of that. On many levels, we also carry, below a cognitive level perhaps, the experiences and the emotions and histories of our ancestors. So My invitation to you is I'm going to take you on a little bit of a journey to support you and to support the whole idea of opening up that space that we all have inside of ourselves to be able to embody our ancestors, each in our own way. So I'd like to share a little bit about my ancestors. My mother, I love this picture. And then here's another picture of them, my mother and her younger sister, being forced to get dressed up in kimonos in Vancouver and pose for a very traditional Japanese family photograph, honoring their ancestry. And then when I was really shocked to find when my grandmother brought over these photos, I was really surprised to find this photograph of my mother and my father at their wedding. I'm just going to take a moment now and offer for each of you, at your own comfort level, to just drop into your own breath and your heart, if that feels right to you, and see if you can bring into your mind's eye and into your heart one of your relatives. And I would suggest go with the first one that comes, that like your heart will tell you if it's right or not, or if that's the one. But see if you can pick one that you feel the clearest path of love with. Just open your intuition or your heart, and see if also you can begin to feel it in your bones. Yeah. So sometimes it takes a little bit of conjuring. I like to move my body a lot. But I'm going to invite you now to start playing with your hands. With whatever kind of mobility feels like it's bringing you a bit of energy and circulation. So I'm going to invite you to begin to play. And go easy at first. So this isn't an exercise like cardio or anything like that. This is really about getting the flow in your body. And this is something that we don't do when we're exercising, but we do it in life all the time. We make gestures spontaneously and naturally. Maybe when we talk or when we see a friend, we'll go, hey! Or when we're angry, we'll go, darn, 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 darn. Or I mean it. Or we'll do all kinds of things like that. Or I don't know, So see if you can play with some of your own gestures. What do you do when you want to say, like, no way, no way? Well, that's one of mine. Or maybe I might go, no. Something like that. It's kind of nice if you can also move your head a little bit too, or your eyes. Or when you're sad, maybe we bring our hands to our heart a little bit. Or we might bring our hands to our face when we're worried. Just play with that a little bit. Because one thing for sure is that human expression is as much a part of our life force as the beating of our hearts. And emotions are meant to have flow and expression. So sometimes it's also really healthy to open up those channels again, especially if we haven't been talking to many people or we've been quieter, like a lot of us have. So playing with your gestures, you can even become a little creative and make some up. Or maybe you know sign language, or you've seen people gesture really specifically. I know the Italian people have really specific, I won't do the ones I know because they're kind of dirty, but there's all kinds of gestures, you know. Beautiful is something like it's so beautiful I'm gonna cry, or there's so many, or sometimes beautiful means tying a bow, yeah. So play with your own gestures. Let's take a couple more. Now see what happens if you add your voice. So this is just the gesture. Here we go. No way. No way. And then say no. Say your thing without the hands. No way. Like, to me, it feels way more satisfying to add my hands. No way. So see if you can do that. You can do one or two more. Yay! Wow! Okay. Those are mine. And now, can you make the gesture imagined or real of one of your more recent ancestors? Or maybe you've seen a picture. Maybe you need to take a minute and reflect on that. Or even a way of sitting. See, my mother always used to sit with her legs crossed, very ladylike, and folded on her lap. I don't sit like this, so I'm actually being my mother right now. Or maybe a grandmother, or, well, heck, even one of your children if you have children or grandchildren. I'd like to now go to a breathing and relaxation that can be done sitting as I am. It can also be done lying down in bed or on a mat, or even standing if you like, but probably sitting is the good middle road. And I'd like to show you this model I have of a human skull. It's plastic, and I just love the architecture of it because this is the beautiful bony structure that is the container for our brains. You know, our brains and all of our primary sense organs. So you can see here the large orbits for the eyes, and we have the ear canals, and then we have the nose, the mouth for taste, right? And then inside of this beautiful cave that protects and holds our brains, we have the massy contents of our brains and all of the cerebral spinal fluid that in which it floats or is protected and that moves inside. So we're so used to relating to our brains, I feel, by what we think. And you know what? We are so much more than what we think. And we have so many other levels of intelligence in our body. So I'm really interested in giving the brain a bit of a break, the part of it that's the thinking part. And so I'm going to invite you to take your hands, if you can, or you can just imagine doing this. I'd like you to touch the bones of your forehead or your cheekbones or either side of your skull. And you can also just do this with one finger, but just to get that, to feel the container. And I'd like you now to just gently move your skull a little bit, just like this one. So just move it. Yeah. Little movements are powerful. Yeah, in this case. Right. And now I'm going to invite you to just, you might want to put your arms on the surface that you're sitting on, if you're sitting, and your feet on the ground. And I invite you to just let your head soften forward with no tension. So letting the skull move just a little bit forward into your neck a little bit. Easy. Just stay here for a breath or so. And then come up, bringing your skull back up. Yeah. Okay, and if at the same time your eyeballs are so close to your brain, and I'm going to invite you to relax your eyes. You don't have to close. You can close them if you want, but just relax them. And I invite you now to take it again, but instead of moving the container, which is very concrete and clear, made up of bone, we use a bit of our imagination and our body's natural ways. And I'm going to invite you to actually now allow your brain, the actual fleshy mass of your brain inside, to soften inside of the cave. So you don't have to go very far. It will probably look very similar. Again, if you're going to come forward, just place your hands on some support, the chair or the arm rests, feet flat on the floor. And I invite you to just let your brain soften forward really gently. Inside the brain, the spinal cord, and your neck, just gently, gently, gently releasing. Releasing all thoughts and worries. And take a couple of breaths here. Deeply in and deeply out. And deeply in and deeply out. If you like, you can actually take your hands and just let your brain rest in your hands. Or actually, if you have a big pillow, you can bring the pillow in front of you and hold it. Just stay here, relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your jaw, softening your chest. One more generous breath. And now really starting with the spinal cord in your neck and this beautiful fleshy mass of the structure of your brain inside the cave to come back up. And just take a moment to relax. Letting your chair or the bed you might be lying in to support you. If you're doing this in a bed, you might also want to try this, just micro movements of the skull on your pillow. Because even though the brain is such an ingenious structure, that its tissues can get tight sometimes. And this can also make us feel very anxious and stressed. So this is a lovely way to rebalance your nervous system and let all that oxygen that your thinking, worrying brain burns up and let it come into your organs and into your muscles. Yeah, so take a moment to observe how you feel and look around your room a little bit. Another thing that's really helpful to do when we get anxious or stressed is to move our necks. And I've actually had a few neck injuries in my life, so sometimes my neck is a little stiff. So it doesn't have to be a big movement. Look at parts of your room that you don't normally look at, and it actually helps relax that nerve that sometimes gets triggered when we get anxious. Look around, look a little farther away, look a little bit closer in a different direction, even look a little bit behind you, and voila. Okay, I'm going going to invite you to stomp your feet a little bit or to just lift your heels a bit, if you can, just to get the feet in the picture, or you can swivel them on the floor. Or if you have slippers on or bare feet, you can grab your toes like this and wiggle them, wiggle your ankles around. Yeah. So one of the most important things in our body is circulation of our blood. So blood flow, the blood that goes from our heart out to our muscles and to our extremities, and then also all of the venous blood that needs to come back to our lungs and heart to be reoxygenated. And so then we want to also feel that flow. So our blood is circulating and our body is breathing not only through our lungs, but through the blood and through the fluids in our body all over. So I'm going to invite you to do a little chair dance now. not like a lap dance, but a chair dance. So if you're sitting in a chair and if you're lying in your bed, I do this sometimes when I wake up in the morning before I stand up, that I just like to feel where my body ends, right? So sometimes we get so here that we forget. So feeling the feet, feeling if you're sitting down, feeling the bottom of your pelvis on the chair, the back of your legs. That's it. And like put your feet flat on the floor. And now see if you can, as you move, can you begin to feel how that's opening up the circulation of your blood? Sometimes it's really helpful to do something a little bit different than everyday motions, like hoof, 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 cha, 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 cha. So now we're getting into a little bit of stuff for our brain. Cha, 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 cha. So yeah, I'm moving my two hands and they're doing the same thing and it feels really good and clear. Cha. You don't have to do it so fast, but do something with both arms. Cha. Just do one hand. Look at it, yeah. Now do one and the other. Oh, I made a mistake, yeah. This is really good for keeping the left side and the right side of your brain working. Ha, ha, ha. Ha, 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 ha. Okay, now we're going to play a little game where we're going to do a little exercise as well, working the left side and right sides of our brains and our bodies. It's going to be an imagination. So we're going to make a quick half of a sandwich and we're going to do all the gestures. So basically I'm going to make half of a sandwich, peanut butter sandwich. So I'm going to open the bread, going to get the bread, feet flat on the floor. I'm going to open the bread. I'm going to pull the bread out, put it down. I'm going to put the bread on the plate. So you can just do it with me. I'm going to get a knife, put the plate down. Oh, sorry, not the knife yet. Put the knife down. I'm going to get a jar of peanut butter and I'm going to open it. Putting it down. Then I'm going to get the knife. I'm going to scoop out the peanut butter, pick up the bread, and make the sandwich. Put the knife down and take a nice big bite. Okay? Did you do that with me or not? Well, let's do the other side, okay? So I'm a lefty, but some things I do better with my right. So it's really helpful to practice this. So now I'm gonna make the peanut butter sandwich with my other hand, leading the job. So here, left hand, left side, getting the bread, opening the bread, pulling the bread out, getting the plate, putting bread on the plate, putting it down, getting the jar of peanut butter, opening the lid, putting it down, getting the knife, Digging it in, picking up the bread, spreading it on the peanut butter. Here, on the bread, and two hands together. Great. And this is actually a really fun thing to do. You can actually practice maybe brushing your hair, imagining, and then you can practice with the other side, or maybe shaving, and then the other side, or if you like to work with tools, you could imagine doing a repair with a toolbox. Anything that also is going to keep your wrists agile. And just practicing it on both sides. I think I even made a couple of little mistakes in there. So this is something that I should be practicing more too. But you can also make it kind of fun for yourself. Yeah. So these are the kinds of things to do when you might be feeling a bit sluggish in your brain or bored. And it helps support our life force and our mental capacities as well. So for the last thing, I want to do a little exercise about, we did the brain, I want to do the heart now to finish. And I'm just going to do it right here. So we know the heart, the physical heart is in the chest, here, a little bit to the left. So you might even want to take your hands and place them on your heart and breathe. And maybe sometimes people find this really powerful. You don't even have to touch your chest. You can just bring it in front somehow and breathe. The heart is one of the most powerful organs in our body. Physiologically, physically, it is strong and it keeps pumping our whole lives. And it's such a powerful organ of relationship. So feel the volume of your heart in your chest. So you can place one hand back on our brain that we worked with earlier and one on your heart. And now move them and see if you can feel that there's actually a very powerful axis between them, like an invisible thread of connection. So even no matter what position we're in, there's something really powerful and healthy about having this open flow between the heart and the brain, which is in just about every religion and spiritual tradition that I've ever encountered in my life. And maybe a lot of suffering in this world actually comes from when there's a severing between the heart and the brain. Yeah, so I hope that as we enter this new year, I hope that some of what I've shared with you today might give you some inspiration and some tools to work with. It's definitely been a difficult year for many of us, and I find these are all very powerful tools of self-care, and maybe it can help you fly a little bit, some air under your wings, and know that even when we're not with our ancestors or our direct family or friends or loved ones, that the greatest gift they give us is the love they have for us, but it's actually the love that we have for them that is also an incredible gift that can buoy us up, because love is a power that can heal. So I'm wishing you all the best for the new year, and take good care of yourself. Bless you.
When the sun is bright or in the darkest night, we're all in this together. I've got many friends, and you are one of them. We're all in this together. It will be okay. Ça va bien aller. I've got many songs to sing, won't you? Sing them too. I'll see you again at the rainbow's end, in fair or stormy weather. For love is like a smile that says see you in a while. We're all in this together. It will be okay. Ça va bien aller. I've got many songs to sing. Won't you sing them too? Sing them too.